Okay, thank you. Okay, welcome everybody to this Haverhill Town Council's Civic Events Working Party meeting on the 5th of, no it's not. What have I got? Sorry, hang on a sec. Bear with me. Yeah, I just realised the agenda says the 5th of January. For some reason. Okay, got me confused. Should be the 16th of March. Particular welcome to, I've lost him again, Steve Gibson. Thank you for joining us, Steve. Appreciate your involvement this year. As usual, any decisions we take here has to be ratified by our leisure committee or by the town clerk under delegated powers. Item 2, apologies for absence, please.
Chair, we have apologies from Councillor Lucarini.
Okay, fine. Yeah, he's in another meeting. Unfortunately, he's running late. Declarations of interest and requests for dispensation from anybody?
None have been received.
No. Okay. Minutes of the previous meeting held a long time ago on the 7th of July last year. As a true record, I assume you've all read them. So can I have a proposer, please? Councillor Davidson, seconded by Councillor Tony Brown. All those in favour, please show. Lost it. There you go. Thank you very much. Item 5, matters arising not on the agenda. Well, everything's on the agenda, so we can move on to item 6, which is the review of civic events for last year. Starting off with VJ 80, which, although the day was on the 15th, the event we held was actually on the following Thursday, the 21st, if I remember rightly, of August. Any comments from anybody before I put my 2 pennyworth in? Nobody? Well, I thought it went really well. There is a video online for those of you who haven't seen it or want to see it or anything. We spent a long time, Charmy and Brian, I've lost Brian, there he is up top there, and Max and others working on this. And I think it was well appreciated by people. We had some good comments, I believe. So anybody else have any comments after that? Nobody? Oh, sorry, Councillor Brown, Tony?
Yeah, I'd just like to reiterate what you said. It was a really good day, and thanks to everyone, yourself, Charmaine, Max, and everyone else, Brian, that made it such a terrific event. And honoured a lot of our Far East veterans from Haverhill. So yeah, that was good.
Right, thank you, Tony, Councillor Brown. Okay. Well, I don't think we'll be doing that again this year. Well, perhaps not for another few years. Moving on to item B then, Remembrance Sunday. This year held on the 9th, or last year held on the 9th of November. Again, there were very few problems as far as I'm aware. Although I was in cemetery, I wasn't out in the field, as it were. Anybody have any comments there? Councillor Brown?
Yeah, next, when we do the programme for this year, could we put on it around, that we align ourselves with the British Legion's policy on the colour of poppies, which is all colours are welcome and none, so basically, so everyone knows that anyone that turns up with a poppy wreath of any colour, they're more than welcome to put it on to the cenotaph, and that aligns fully with the British Legion's policy on that, just to make sure that everyone knows. Yeah, thank you.
Okay. That's fine. I'm sure that could be done. Oh, sorry, is that you, Sarah? Sorry. Sorry, you're muted. No? Okay. Anybody? Again, I think it went well. I know it's early doors days.
Shall I feedback, John, a little bit?
Yeah, sorry, Gary. There you are. Sorry, yeah, mate. Sorry.
No, there wasn't much to report. It was just to say we had to account for a member of the public wanting to be able to get in and out from the cordon down on Withersfield Road. So we changed our planning for that slightly, which worked on the day itself absolutely fine. We had a couple of the traffic agency staffing not turn up, so we had to do a last minute change around and account for that, which we dealt with. The road traffic people were really good, actually. Fair play to those that turned up in the agency. On the square itself, when the parade was coming, when the group was coming back, the gates were opened, I think, slightly too early. From what I remember, the video shows that they opened up about 5-10 minutes rather than 2 minutes before. So that's something for me. I think that was just the naivety of the staff who were on the square that day. It didn't create any issues. I'd just like to tighten up a bit more when we do it again, and make sure that they do that a bit later, rather than opening up too early. From my perspective, the parade went down, and I hope it was the efforts of everyone was appreciated, as it is quite a hectic hour or so. And thanks to everyone on the staffing and the volunteers that contributed to that. Thank you.
Thank you, Gary. Appreciate it. And obviously my thanks go to many of those who are on here who attended. I think probably everyone attended, actually. I thought it went very well, and I guess same again this year. Obviously we'll plan a bit later on in the year for it, but we normally start. Gary and myself normally end up talking about this at the beginning of sort of July time, to start talking about the traffic side of things. So that'd be good. So I think when the video came out okay as well, which we did, I'm assuming that we're gonna live stream it again. Although I know Vicky did ask the care homes how many of them watched, but I don't think any of them responded, did they? No, which is a shame, because that's what we primarily do it for. And I'm wondering whether the live stream is made, we can still film it, but whether we're, going a bit overboard with the live stream if nobody's watching it or not bothering to tell us whether they're watching it. So it might be worthwhile chasing up again, Vicky, on the care homes again, and saying we haven't had a response, because if they're not bothering to answer us, then it's a lot of work to set all the equipment up. It's a long day. It'd be better if we're just going to film it and create a video at the end of it. That'll still happen, but okay. Moving on finally to item C, the Christmas Civic service. Who would like to say anything on that? Vicky, nobody. I don't know whoever. Max, is any? Sorry, Max. So I see your hand. Sorry, I've just seen your hand up. Sorry.
Well, if nobody else wants to say anything, I thought it went very well, and it was really good to have some of the other groups involved. We managed to get the choir from Samuel Ward, and although they didn't sing anything particularly Christmassy, they sort of previewed something from their play Matilda, which worked well. We had Archie play on behalf of Castle Manor. We had a group of dancers from the Kerala community. So I thought it was nice to have those different groups involved, and I know it's always a struggle to try and get them in and to work out what they're doing, but it just shows, I think, that it is really worth it. So thank you to those who helped to organise that.
Yep, ditto. I know you, Vicky, and others organised that. Thank you very much. Right, let's move on to item 7 then, which is happening for this year. First of all, we got mayor making Monday, May the 11th. I guess that's Colin or Vicky going to say anything about that.
Well, I mean, I'm not expecting anything particularly different. The outgoing mayor chooses the kind of halftime entertainment, if you
Yeah.
want to phrase it that way. And that's a discussion we need to have with Councillor Cox. And then we'll just do the usual. In April, the council will be asked to indicate their kind of intentions as far as who they want to see as mayor and deputy mayor, so that we can make sure that the the right families are actually in the audience and somebody doesn't find themselves made mayor without their family being able to watch.
Okay. Yeah, I mean that just something just happens, isn't it? Really. With you, yourself and Vicky and whoever. Okay. Right. Anyone got any comments on that at all? Or we move on? Right. Let's move on to Armed Forces Week. Obviously, the Monday, the 22nd, which is the raising of the flag, and then on Saturday, the actual event itself. So last year we raised the flag, obviously on the Monday. Steve, I don't know how much involvement on the Monday the RBL will be doing. Last year was a little bit.
I think they've spoken about they are going to turn up for the raising of the flags. Unfortunately, I won't be there.
Okay.
As I work away during the week. I know there was a little bit of controversy between the British Legion last year, and you probably didn't hear about it. A few people fell out because who was chosen to raise the flags.
Okay.
It was brought to my attention. Obviously, they rang me up and told me that in respect, the Army flag should be raised by Army, Navy should be raised by Navy, and Air Force should be raised by Air Force. And that's basically it. The Union flag, if they're going to do that, anyone can raise the Union flag from any part of the military background itself. But if we could try and keep it in a conjunction with the military people, it's like Reg is ex-RAF, and he's the oldest veteran we have in the town now. Which he should have really raised the RAF standard or the flag. Okay. And you've got the Army and the Navy ones. So what I will do is I'll compile a list out of the British Legion for you and get it over to you to who should do that on the flags itself, so that we don't have any arguments. I think it was one of our outgoing British Legion members last year which caused the argument.
Okay.
Unfortunately, he has now left us, but left me with a pile to deal with.
Okay, all right, Steve. I appreciate that. Thank you. I think if I vaguely remember, and I may be talking out of turn here, but on the day we were sort of struggling to find people to actually raise it, and it was, I think, in the end it was a pot shot as to who was available, stood around. I'm talking about. But if you could send us a list and everything, and if if you're able to nominate people, that's even better. Yeah,
I'll get the 3 nominations for you to make sure they're going to be there, because obviously you've got the Veterans Breakfast Club's going to be there alongside with the British Legion.
Yeah.
Because the veterans, we're trying to get them all in Haverhill out to come and see us and join us.
Okay.
There's hundreds of veterans in Haverhill. There's hundreds of them. I think there's one homeless veteran which we're trying to sort out at the moment. But obviously, if I can get 3 names, and I'm going to get the 3 eldest veterans to actually pass forward to you, I think it's going to be easier than rather than anybody arguing. I'll just give them the names, and that'll be done and dusted.
Yeah, that'd be great, Steve. I appreciate that. That'd be much better way of doing things, and we know exactly what's going on. And do you know, will the standards be there as well? Do you know?
As far as I'm aware, the standards should be there. The British Legion should be bringing the standards with them.
Okay.
That'll be Darren.
Yeah, fine, lovely, appreciate that. Thank you. Anybody got any questions on the Monday? Councillor Brown, Tony, are you going to
Yeah,
bring your vehicles?
Yeah, I was going to say I'll bring a couple of historic military vehicles down. I don't know if is your car coming down, Steve? Does anyone else drive it or?
I can get somebody else to drive it because obviously they want me to bring the veterans down from up the town hall who are going to do their little march down. I didn't see it last year. Unfortunately, I was at a funeral last year for one of the veterans who died. But they said they marched down from the arts centre or something. Is that
Okay,
correct?
that's a Saturday, Steve.
That's for Saturday,
Yeah,
is it?
so I'm just sort of referring to Monday at the moment.
Monday, right. My
Yeah,
car
sorry.
won't be there on the Monday, I'm afraid.
No.
It's going to depend where in the country or where in Europe
you
I'm
are.
going to be.
Yeah.
Is it still going to be at 2 o'clock? Is it? Is it 2 o'clock?
Yeah, I think that's what we did last year. I was actually, to be honest with you, I was just looking for it, and because was it the previous year we did 11 and we got
Yeah,
comments on. I think it was 2 o'clock last year.
yeah. Just to confirm that, so everyone knows exactly where we are.
Yeah. So I was trying to find the video, to be honest with you. Sorry. Yes, we'll confirm that one way or the other. I'm sure it was 2 o'clock. Okay, let's move on to the Saturday, the actual day itself. If we try and do it in sequence, if you like. So normally we have the convoy of as much as it is. Then obviously the stalls all set up before that on the market square with barriers around, which I bring down the barriers. And then we normally last year we were talking about reducing the time a little bit, maybe half an hour. In the comments from the minutes. That we first of all, Councillor Brown, you and I spoke on WhatsApp a few weeks back about whether we were going to extend the convoy, but I mentioned obviously we'd have to staff it as well.
Yeah. I did look hard at potential route extensions, etc. But to be fair, the amount of junctions and that it would have encompassed meant that we'd have needed a lot of staff. So I don't think it would be conducive to to doing so I think to be fair, it'd be nice if it's a little bit longer, but the amount of effort it would take to do that, I don't think it would pay, and it just cause a big headache. So
Yeah.
Personally, I'm quite happy as it was.
Yeah,
So
I think it's changed from the original COVID thing that you organised.
exactly. Yeah.
All right, so 11 o'clock start from there.
So gather from sort of 10:30, get everything ready, and then leave at 11. That's what we're planning. Are we going to have a charity again this year? Charity collection again? We did Blesma last year. It'd be nice to be able to do something again for another forces charity of some sort.
Yeah, I mean, of course. The only thing is, how much did we raise last year? I'm not big. I'm going to go. I'm just thinking maybe we need to be a bit more proactive in the collections, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I think Sarah did that.
Remember what it was, Sarah?
I can't remember what it was, but I do remember it wasn't wowing.
No. Okay.
It was quite modest.
Yeah.
Right.
We all must try harder.
Yeah. I mean,
can I just say something if possible, please? On the charity sides of things for itself, obviously, if you're trying to choose a charity and you want to raise a charity, why don't you ask the British Legion and the Veterans Breakfast Club to help raise that money for you? And get the veterans actually involved in raising the money.
I would agree totally, Steve. I think the Veterans Club, I know you run it with others. I think it's been a bit on the sidelines a little bit, and is what you was just saying a minute ago by trying to get people more involved. I think the more the merrier.
Yeah.
And then
The Breakfast Club, we've got over 135 veterans.
Yeah, exactly.
Um,
Exactly.
And it's to kick their, excuse my pun, backsides
Yeah.
to get them to do stuff. Now, believe it or not, over the last couple of months, it's been really, really hard, and I have really worked hard on the Veterans Breakfast Club, and I've stood down from other stuff which I've been doing, and a lot of them are now coming out saying they want to come out and do things. We've got a 90-year-old veteran which joined us last month, which I think between him and Reg, they're both oldest veterans Haverhill have.
Right.
Now, if
Yeah.
I can get them all out, I will do my best for you and try and get, even if I can get a minimum of 30 or 40 out. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, it'd be good.
It's going to work.
Yeah. Be good. Yeah.
And on your charity side, what I would suggest is something which is probably amongst every veteran's hearts is Tommy's Little Soldiers.
A good one. Yeah. I was going to actually ask you any suggestions, but you've come up with it anyway. Should we go for that?
Yeah,
I have.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Can we do that, Sarah and Joe?
It'd be great if Steve can get, the Breakfast Club guys out there with buckets and
I'll be mentioning it next week when I
Okay.
see them all, and I'll
Appreciate
put it out on the website as well.
Yeah.
No, that's brilliant. Okay, so obviously the convoy will only take 10 minutes, something like that. Normally it's again Gary and myself normally arrange the thing. I do the paperwork in terms of it's going to be the same route anyway, just change the date on it. Everything else. Sarah, did you want to go over what you've got planned so far?
Yeah, I mean it's pretty similar to everything that has gone before. So we'll be expecting all the usual suspects. In terms of entertainment, I've got sort of two comedy things, which are sort of pigeons and World War One nurses who go around bossing people about. And I've also got some 40s girl singers trio. Now, Glen Morriston has reserved the date, but I was going to ask the group whether we wanted them for a third year running or whether we should give them a year off and come back next year. But they've saved the date for us, and I said I'd bring it up tonight and let them know what people think tomorrow.
I'll let elders say what they think, but my personal view is we've only got 3 months to go before this. You might struggle to find somebody else who's available.
Well, I wasn't. I was thinking that we don't have to do the march through the high street every single time, but it is quite nice and it's noisy and a big spectacle. People do like it, but I was just aware of doing sort of the same over and over again.
And I think what Steve was just saying was that, I think it's very important we have that now, because if we have even more veterans or whoever want to march down from I know it's only a short march, some of them may not be able to go that far. From there to the Market Square, I think that would be very good. So I personally think probably yes. Anyone else have any thoughts?
I would say yes as well, being as it is Armed Forces Week. You want the veterans to be there. If you turn around and say to the veterans, no, sorry, we're not going to do the march this year.
You may as well bother.
My eyes would be, I can't be bothered to turn up.
No, that's right.
You know what I mean? It's for the veterans. It's for the armed forces. It's not just anything. It's very close to my heart because I'd spent 29 years in the army.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I do all this.
Mm-hmm.
Cancelling the veterans march down would probably upset a lot of veterans. And I mean a lot of veterans. You probably find that they wouldn't even turn up to your remembrance parade.
No, I mean, it's something that hasn't been going on for very long. I would perhaps say about whether we use the Glen Morrison band or some other, but we struggle to find a marching band anyway, don't we? Other than the Sea Cadets.
We do.
So have you thought about contacting the people who have the freedom of the town from the military? As they've got freedom of the town, they should actually help fund, well, not help fund, but help bring a band in for
Yeah,
you?
I think we contact them every year, the Royal Anglians. I mean, they did. Well, only sent. It wasn't really us who organised it, but they did for the opening of the relief road. But it's something I have emailed their contact, and I'm trying to think of his name at the moment. And he was very keen to get more involved. So maybe we ought to be emailing him, Sarah, to.
Also, you
Okay.
could also email the household division. They have 12 core drums and 6 bands.
Right. Could you and Sarah talk to one another about, have you got
If
any
she can
contact?
catch me when I'm in the country, yeah.
Yeah. Well, email's fine, but
Yeah, no
No.
problems. I do have contacts. I do know quite a few people.
Okay.
So
And I've got somewhere, I think I've sent it into people, the one I've.
Sorry, are we saying that we prioritise them over the Glenmoriston to begin with?
I think possibly for this year, I'm just thinking we might have a struggle, even the minute, even like the Anglians and the household. I think they've probably got other things. I know they've got lots of soldiers, but whether or not should we? What do you? Sorry, Colin, you got your hand up. Sorry.
Thank you, Chair. Obviously, it'd be absolutely fantastic to have a band from the Household Regiment, but there's only 6, I think, Stephen said. So obviously, I should think the whole country would be delighted and eager to have them. So how quickly can we check their availability? Because that's so fantastic. It's difficult to believe that in March 2026 we can book them in May 2026. It just seems like in June 2026. It's only 3 months. It just seems a very short period of time. If you think about red arrows, fly past and stuff like that, you have to get in really, really early. It'd be fantastic to do, but I just think we just need to be careful that we don't waste time over that. Do it as quickly as possible, and if it's not possible, fail that, get on to the Morrison's band rather than. So I think what I ask is, can that be done as soon as possible, so we don't end up with nothing, because we're very, very late in terms of asking
what I
for
will
that
try and
band.
do for you, Sarah, is get the email address of the bandmaster from the Grenadier Guards,
Cool.
and if we can, and I know what you're saying, Brian. I was in the corps drums when I was in the army to start off with, so obviously the corps drums role is an infantry soldier before the actual band, the actual playing of the music. The corps drums would take on a lot of things quite late, so it could normally be booked within a week, and it would come through and say, sorry, you got this next week, so you can't have that weekend off. You've got to go and do this show, or you've got to go and do this tattoo or whatever. They throw things at the corps drums quite late. So the best people probably would be to send an email up to the household division bandmaster in charge, the lieutenant colonel, and see what he can do for you. If he can't do nothing, he'll answer back to you.
No, okay, that'd be great. And in the meantime, I'll just prevaricate a bit over the Glenmoriston, and they can be.
But we need to obviously not leave it too late that they book something else.
No,
We're left with
just keep them
nothing.
warm.
Yeah. Okay.
I would say give it a week to see if they come back to you after the email.
Okay.
If they don't come back to you, book the other band.
Yeah,
Okay.
and I may have sent this to you before, Sarah, but I had somewhere in my emails. I've got the contact for the Royal Anglians as well.
Okay, yeah. Send
So
that
that'd be
along when you find them.
Okay. I presume, are we are the Army Air Corps coming again this year at all? Do you know? I know they normally go to the main thing, but they came last year, even though we weren't the main.
Yeah, they've said they're interested.
Yeah, because they said we're going to bring something different. I don't know what different it is for the Army Air Corps.
No, they haven't confirmed yet, but they
I've
have
no
said
idea.
they're interested.
Steve's laughing. Yeah. I have no idea. Yeah. Okay. Right. So there was a suggestion and I think maybe Charmin and Brian may know more about this, about moving some of the, certainly the smaller vehicles into the high street to relieve a bit of space on the market square. Leave the big stuff on the market square, but bring it into the high street a little bit so people know that this thing, you know, is happening. Because if they only come down, let's say for the market or go to Costa or somewhere, is they may not actually know that there's something going on in the market square. So I was thinking maybe, you know, maybe the Jeeps or something like that we could put in the high street. Like Tony, Councillor Brown.
Yeah, we may not be having so many vehicles this year anyway, and mainly the Jeeps. They've been invited along to another weekend show, so
Oh, okay.
2 or 3 of the Jeeps have already told me they're not coming this year, unfortunately. So
Okay.
we may not have as many vehicles anyway. So
Yeah.
yeah.
But it also depends if the Army Air Corps turn up with something big. Colin.
Thank you, Chair. I thought that there was a discussion after the last Armed Forces Day to whether or not there would be a convoy at all in terms of placing vehicles into the high street rather than, as we have in the past, cordoned off the market square. So we've got a completely controlled environment to bring big vehicles onto the market square, etc. And then the smaller vehicles. If we're going to try and split the convoy, you're asking us to put the if there are any Jeeps, and I take aboard what Councillor Brown's just said, but how are we supposed to marshal the Jeeps round into the high street where we've just put all the public to clear the market square for the heavy vehicles? And I thought there was discussion that we wouldn't have a convoy as such, but actually allow people to turn up directly onto the market square, still pay obviously the a contribution, and in current circumstances all the more important contribution towards fuel costs, but not do a convoy, have vehicles straight onto the market square, and then yes, we can position vehicles elsewhere because they're not all arriving at the same time. It's far easier to marshal safely one Jeep through a relatively spread out crowd than it is to try and marshal an entire convoy arriving at the same time, split it into 2 different halves, and take one half round the back of the people who are watching it from the safe area. I think I'd like to see how how that's supposed to work, to be honest.
Well, anything's possible, of course. I think the problem, Tony, from my perspective, not having a convoy is that you're just going to get people turn up randomly. So a Jeep may turn up before a big heavy, you know, scavel or whatever the thing is. And we end up not being able to maneuver those big vehicles because the smaller vehicles have effectively blocked the access. And that's why in the convoy, we always allow the big stuff to leave first, so they all arrive first. That's from that perspective. But let me go to Tony.
Yeah, I would say we've got a pretty good formula as it is. It seems to work. We can gather all the vehicles up at the Arts Centre car park, sort them out. They leave in the order that obviously they're going to arrive in. I would 100% agree with Colin. We're not going to get the amount of vehicles to need to split them into 2, so there'd just be one group arriving on the market square, so we can sort of marshal people off the market square as we've done in previous years, and then the vehicles will just come on. We can sort them all out, and it's quite a quick process. I do worry, you know, if we've got people start gathering, if vehicles start turning up willy-nilly onto the market square, people will start wanting to try and look at the vehicles and and it becomes a little bit messy and a little bit more risky. Whereas I say if we can sort them out at the Arts Centre, come down in one group and have that sort of 5 minutes of sort of organised chaos as we sort them out, I think that works very well. But as Colin says, if we started to try and break them into 2 and put some up in the in the High Street or Queen Street, it would cause a lot of
Yeah.
things.
The
I
only-
don't think we'd need to now anyway. Yeah.
No, from what you're saying, it's fine. I mean, I think it was more of a suggestion because we had some gazebos in the churchyard, which, okay, they, apart from the sloping curbstones, it was maybe try and get them more into the market square. But it all depends on if we have the Army Air Corps, as I said, they had the big helicopter there last year, and the year before was their big truck. But yeah, that's fine. It was just a suggestion, and that's what we're here to discuss. Okay, there was a suggestion we change the running time from 10:30 to 2:30, 10:30 to 14:30, because after 2:30, most people have gone. We find, we just sort of stood around waiting for that 3 o'clock magic number. Should we drop it down by half an hour? Any thoughts? Oh, sorry, Colin. Sorry.
Yes, Chair. So as we know, you're exactly what you just described has been the case. The one thing that I'm really anxious about is that we don't chase our tails on this. And I'll be pleased to hear from Councillor Brown on this, particularly in terms of the people involved with the vehicles. The people want the place emptied out. The public did empty out, and not surprisingly, the people with the vehicles wanted to leave. It is the case in almost every single event we arrange that either the stall holders or the vehicle exhibitors, etc., want to leave earlier than the end of the event. How can we go about saying if we make the event end at 2:30, that actually we actually lay it down that you cannot leave, that you will have to stay until 2:30. That's still earlier than you left last year, but you really can't then sneak off still 1 hour before the event ends, because if we keep chasing that, we'll end up not having an event at all. We do need it, but it's how we can do that politely and reasonably so that we don't find ourselves chasing our tails.
You could always put down no vehicle movement until.
Well, we do that anyway, but it's just whether or not there's something we can do more strongly than that. I don't want to be rude to people, but we do have to be realistic that if we're going to say the event's shorter, that everyone stays to the end of the short event and doesn't leave as the same way they left before the longer event. I take your point.
Tony, Colin, Councillor Brown?
I just wish everyone would stay till 3. I think 3 is a good time. Maybe it's around putting the actual the program. I don't know if that needs a little bit of jiggling around. I don't know. But I'm willing to go with if it's 2:30, it's fine. But I'd rather we make it a day that people want to stay till 3.
Yeah, I think
I can say to the vehicle owners that we need to stay till 3 o'clock, and that's it. Yeah, because I've never really said people as it comes towards the end, so I might as well go, and and there's no one around, so it just happens. But if I said to people, look, if you come along, please stay till 3 o'clock.
Yeah, well, we're proposing 2:30, of course.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I think the problem is that the town generally dies by that time, because the market has invariably, what market there is, invariably is already packed up by then, and people just leave town, go home. They've been down there for their lunch, their Costas or whatever it is, and until they get their takeaways at 5 o'clock or whatever time it is, the town dies. So I personally think no vehicle, because the problem is, Tony, Councillor Brown, is that we have to manage that vehicle movements, and because it's a bit piecemeal, we sometimes struggle for staff, I know, to be available to safely move people off the market square, moving barriers or whatever else it might be.
Well, that's fair enough. Say we'll say 2:30, but no
Alright.
vehicle movement
Okay.
before 2:30. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So we'll agree on that. Stall holders. I think we normally start up from 10, don't we? I believe.
They can start from 9, I think.
No. Okay.
Depending on the placement of the other stuff, but
Yeah.
people do start coming in from then.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it is similar across all events that we do. The last hour does drag on every single event.
Oh, pardon me, yeah. Okay. All right. I'll have to organise with Gary when I bring the barriers down. I normally bring them down about. Well, actually, I normally come down about 6 o'clock in the morning, so I put the cones out at the car park. So I always sort that out. I've got to get the lighting done on the trailer. Anything else on Armed Forces Day then? Max at all, or anything from your side? You'll do your usual thing on the Monday, I assume.
On the Monday, yeah.
And I've got Charmin going to talk as well. Okay.
Yeah, no,
Charmin.
that's all fine from me.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Charmin?
I just wonder whether there's whether when you're thinking about the planning of where the vehicles are going and where the stalls are going, you can think about the stalls that were right into the church garden last year, because it sort of created two areas really, and the people who were on the stalls didn't really have an opportunity to see what was going on in the even at the top with the entertainment. I don't know, could some of the stalls go down on the high street?
Well, we might be in a better position anyway, because the helicopter took up so much space last year. And then the year before that was when we were the lead town, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And so we had a lot more stalls for that one because of the fact we were the lead town. So I think we might be able to get them all onto the market square this year.
Yeah, I think that's where I was. Sorry, Charmin. That's where I was leading towards. Why moving the vehicles onto the high street was to give space for the stalls, to get them out of the churchyard, because I think you're right. It isolates them.
And they were the very people who were wanting to pack up early.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry, Charmin. I interrupted you.
No, that's fine. If there is space for the stalls to go on the market square, or even in front of peacocks facing the market square, it makes it more inclusive for them, doesn't it?
Well, it does. Now we also know, well, we don't know when the scaffolding is coming down from loungers. Who knows? But yes, I mean, we need them to be able to see what's going on. Yeah. Is that something? So I mean, presumably, as you say, you said started the conversation, usual suspects, as it were.
Well, we're not inundated like we were when we were the lead town or anything like that.
No, okay.
So I'm hopeful that we can get them. Do you know about the Argos? Is that scaffolding coming down, or is it still dangerous at the moment?
Who knows?
Because
there's not enough. Well, there's not enough space in front of it with that scaffolding, and you can put them on peacocks, but the trouble is peacock slopes, doesn't it? Which is not overly brilliant for gazebos. Or then they won't see it is where the years and years ago where the market stalls used to be literally on the pavement in front of the church, but that means they still won't see it either. They really need to be facing it. Ideally, we could try and get them on the market square somehow.
I'll try my best.
Yeah, lovely. Thank you.
Can I just add something as well?
Sorry, Steve. Yeah, please.
Tony, just for yourself, I'll put a feeler out for. Have you ever heard of Rolling Thunder?
Yes.
I'll put a feeler out. You have?
No, I haven't. But Castle Brown has, what I say.
So, Rolling Thunder is a veterans bike group. Okay, and there's over 70,000 people in it. Suffolk has its own rolling thunder. Maybe a suggestion is if we can try and get them involved with the parade coming round, we could put them on the road so people can have a look at their bikes and the flags. If we can get them involved, I'll put the feeler out to the guys and see what they say.
Okay, that's a bit like what Paul Furman used to do with his scooters. But this is perhaps more relative. Yeah, I think we've had them on the Market Square previously for some other event, not necessarily the town council, but it has been. I remember
We had rolling thunder for I can't remember his name now. Oh, for his funeral, the 100-year veteran, Uncle Bill.
Somebody.
Oh, Bill Gladden.
Bill-
Yeah, that's right. We did. Yes, I was in that convoy. Yes, I remember that.
Yeah.
With Councillor Brown. Yes. Okay. Yes, I think would that work, Colin? Little bikes on the high street,
Well,
maybe.
Clearly, I mean, there's still the issue of clearing the route, but clearing the route for motorbikes is significantly easier than clearing the route for extremely large military vehicles. The turning circles and all sorts of different things are different. It's a different proposition.
Yeah.
So I think what I would say is, let's see if you can get them. We'll have plenty of notice, and then Gary and Sarah can look at the logistics of where we put them. But it's a lot easier to have a row of bikes. I suspect they are very sensibly driven bikes. Not saying that the large army vehicles aren't sensibly driven, but they're just smaller motorbikes. It's easy to get them into position.
Yeah, I know. I mean, when Paul did his, was he literally
Yeah.
they went into High Street as well. So
Yeah, there was no great difficulty. I mean, obviously, the Lambrettas are probably smaller than the motorbikes.
Yes,
but
yes,
still,
yes.
the principle still applies. It's,
Yes,
it's a
principles.
far easier proposition.
Oh, that'd be a good idea. That's a good idea, Steve. Well, thank you for that. Yes, that makes it certainly more relevant as well. Okay. Anything else on Armed Forces Day at all? No. All right. Let's move on. Item C then. 7C is Suffolk Day. We normally just raise the flag, don't we? Now, yeah, for a non-town host event, rather, I'll call it that. Is this really a Saturday this year? Is it? I thought it was Saturday last year, but maybe not. Oh, it's Saturday, yeah. Yeah, I mean,
Sunday show.
Sunday.
It should be Sunday, the 21st.
Oh yeah, Sunday. That's all right. Well, I could do the usual thing on that, just raise the flag and take it down at night. Councillor Brown?
Yeah, I'm going to sneak this one in on this agenda item because there isn't going to be a lot of discussion on it. We haven't given a thought to July the 4th this year. It's the 205th anniversary of American independence. Nathaniel Ward, who was rector of our church, was he helped write the first draft of the American Constitution. It's a big deal. Should we be doing something on that day, on the July the 4th? It's going to be the 250th anniversary.
You just made me rather old because 50 years ago on that day I was in New Haven, Connecticut, waving to the Queen. It was parked alongside us in the Royal Yacht Britannia.
Yeah.
So that makes me feel a bit old.
Yeah. I think it's something that we should at least mark in some way.
Well, I presume at the very least we raised the flag. Which flag did we raise? Did we raise the Confederate flag or something? Whatever, the Unionist flag.
The colonial flag.
Colonial flag, yeah. Any thoughts, anybody? On that day? What day is it? Sorry, July 4th.
It is a Saturday. The church is already booked out. The Haverhill Singers have a concert scheduled for that day, so they'll expect to be in the church all day. So it doesn't mean we can't do anything in the church, but we just need to schedule around that. As you mentioned, Nathaniel Ward, he wasn't rector, but he had a connection to the church here. So yeah, we'd be very happy to be involved if that's something we want to look at. but the church is booked out for the afternoon and evening as it is.
I normally at this point refer to Charmin and Brian for their thoughts. And Brian, Charmin, or Brian first. Sorry, Charmin.
Well, I think we're keeping our heads low at the moment because we're so busy.
Yeah.
July the 4th isn't very long away, relatively. I mean, I don't know.
We did do something about the shield, and that was Haverhill, Massachusetts 250th anniversary, wasn't it? So there's certainly quite a bit of material that could be posted. I don't know.
We could certainly raise a flag of some sort, whether it's presumably the American flag as it is today, but you know, I don't know. I can't remember all the different variants. Can't remember how many there were in there. Was it seven states, something like that, in the original flag? Do we just publicise it?
I mean, I understand where Tony's coming from, but you know, what had you in mind, Tony?
Something along the lines of that what we do for on the Monday for Armed Forces Week, raise some flags and a gathering, and maybe the American national anthem or something like that. It just seems to show it's such a big anniversary, and maybe not so much in the last few months, but they've been a huge ally of ours. I mean, I was only over at the American cemetery on Saturday, and you see the amount of bases they had here during World War II, the amount of guys that died flying from around the air bases nearby. They made a huge contribution to the UK and to World War II, etc. It just seems that it'd be good in some way just to be able to mark that huge significant anniversary. It's their 250th anniversary. A lot of people around this way have got links with America. A lot of people married American servicemen back in the day. So it just seems that it's something that we should mark in some way. I'm not saying exactly how to do it and what resources we should put to it, but it'd be nice to and to be fair, I've just sprung it on you really, but it was something I was thinking about the other day. I just thought, it's 250th anniversary, and we've got such huge links with America, US. It'd be good to mark the day.
So, are you suggesting we do something a bit like the Monday, for Armed Forces Day, just for raising the flag, as you say? National anthem.
Yeah.
Would you be available on the Saturday, Max? I know you got the singers. If we did it maybe 11 o'clock in the morning or something like that.
Yes.
People should be around, hopefully, shouldn't they, in town?
And then the church would be open, and if you wanted to go in for refreshments afterwards or something, the church will be open at that time and available.
Yeah, because it's open anyway, isn't it? For refreshments
on a Saturday morning.
Saturday, yeah.
What I'm a bit wary of is there's around July the 4th and the build up to it in a few weeks, that there's going to be a lot of stuff on the media about it, and there'll be people in the town saying, what's the town council done to remember this? I mean, the British government generally does something very significant. I mean, I remember the 200th anniversary, the Queen and the country gave the US recast Liberty Bell, didn't they? And it was a big thing. So I'm just saying it'd be good if we can mark it in some way. I think if we don't do anything, it won't look so good. And I think we should anyway.
Yeah, I never understood why I was never invited to the White House when I was there 50 years ago. It's a bit strange anyway. Well, could we do that then? And we publicise it, Joe, near the time. Are we all agreed on that? It's pretty simple. There's no cost involved, is there? What about the US anthem? And we American anthem? And we'll just do a recording of that, play it back, like we do for armed forces flag racing, and find a decent recording. Is everyone happy with that? Anyone object to it?
Well, could we also send a message to the mayor of Haverhill, just as from our mayor as well, of goodwill, etc.
Yeah. Although, did we do something for Haverhill's 250th anniversary? I think we did, didn't we? Already.
A lesser winter cross.
That's right. I don't know whether
this is slightly different, though, isn't it, John? So another one could go.
No, that's right. This is for the national, well, the 7 states, which I think Massachusetts was one of them, if I remember rightly.
Yeah.
My history. Okay. All right, we could do something like that. Do a little bit of a build up and see if anyone turns up on the day. Hopefully they will, because say it's a Saturday market day, and hopefully the weather will be, sun will be shining.
You think in the 1980s we would have had about 3,000 Americans down there?
Well, that's right. I know. Tell me, they all lived opposite me. I know. We used to have a good time, parties every week.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move on quickly then to Remembrance Sunday. We've spoken about Remembrance last. Yeah, Steve, I understand you're going to be parade marshal.
On my sins, yes, I've been volunteered for it.
Volunteered, yeah. Okay. Normally what happens is around about September time, we sit down with yourself and others, or not sit down, literally walk the route, just to make sure that everyone understands what's happening, particularly up the art centre at the start, where Gary moved around the screen again. There, Gary will be the event manager normally. I assume that will still be the case. And then obviously up the cenotaph, what happens in terms of where everyone stands, reef lane. I mean, I think you probably know it all anyway, but all that sort of stuff.
I think the reef line should always be, and I think, if correct me if I'm wrong, through British Legion, in the town, it should be the mayor first to lay the reef for the town and nobody else from there. And then the last reef to be laid should be from the actual parade marshal for the Legion.
Certainly the latter, as I understand it. I believe the Lord Lieutenant's representative, who's representing the King in this case, has to go first.
Yeah, obviously the higher authority.
Higher authority. Yeah, I think we normally try to arrange that. There was a little bit of a confusion last year, I believe. There were people laying reefs not in the right order. If I remember rightly, Charmy and Brian, I think that was the case, wasn't it?
I think it was agreed, wasn't it, on the walk round, that Danny and Brian Mills would lay the wreaths for the British Legion and Danny as parade marshal last. But then on the day, I think Brian changed his mind and he...
I don't think it was Brian changed his mind. It was literally the way it's always been with the Legion. Brian should lay the reef before Danny, and Danny should be laying the last reef. Obviously, Danny's not no more. It'd be me laying the last reef this time.
But Steve, last year it was agreed with Danny and Brian that they would go up together at the end. And
right,
yes, Brian probably would have laid his wreath before Danny, but they were supposed to go up together at the end. And then
from what I can gather, because I was the second person who actually laid their wreath after Brian. And the talk was obviously the civil dignitaries lay their wreaths first. That all goes down. And because Brian's the chairman of the British Legion, before any of the armed forces lay theirs down, if we're going with the actual way they work at the cenotaph, he should lay his wreath first.
Okay.
That's probably right, but he should You should have told us that
Yeah,
when we had that
Yeah.
discussion.
And
100% agree
Okay.
with you.
and that's why we have a meeting in September to get over these things. And
Yeah.
because I have a document which I will send you, Steve, from last year. You may or may not have seen it. I think I've got last year's, which basically the whole event, and
Yeah.
also the and if you disagree with any of it, please let us know. It's the easiest way of doing it.
There's only one thing I would actually ask on Remembrance Day, believe it or not. Can we have the son to play the last post and Ravalli, please? He played it last year and he played it spot on.
Yes, he does. Archie is brilliant. Yes,
brilliant.
Yeah,
I've had this argument with the and I've been trying to put this across to the British Legion. When the father plays it, he plays the Household Cavalry Ravalli. That is not a Remembrance Ravalli.
Okay.
Obviously, I used to be in the Corps Drums.
Yeah.
I was a Queen Silver Bugler. Don't ask me to play it now because my lips are gone. I was a Queen Silver Bugler for 3 years running, and every single Remembrance Parade we done, it was Rouse. No other bugle call.
Okay. Well, that's why we bow to your greater knowledge. That's what it's all about. We fumble in the dark sometimes because we don't necessarily know the protocol. Okay, that's fine. That's a good thing to. And if we can get normally Charmian and Brian organise Archie.
Yeah,
And
he was brilliant last year. He was amazing.
We usually organise somebody to play on the 11th, was 11, and then for the cemetery.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know if we'll have a bit of a problem this year because Ivy played on the 11th last year, but she goes up to Castle Manor this year. And so I think we'll need to get in touch with Vanessa and ask her if she'll release her to do that. And then we can ask Archie to do
Sunday
cemetery.
Yeah.
So I'm happy to have that discussion with
Vanessa.
Di panel.
Yeah, and Di, obviously, yeah. That'd be great. Okay. There's probably not a lot to talk about. Remember, we've already spoken about it. I think everyone's probably happy with the way it went, when we don't want to change anything, I don't think. From a tech point of view, obviously the film went okay. I think the sound was okay. I bought some wireless headphones, set of 4 or 5, whatever they're, 6 of them, I don't know how I bought, which worked extremely well for communicating amongst ourselves, and I was no longer trying to manage the event as well. Sarah, lost Sarah again. Oh, she's off picture. Up at the War Memorial itself, Gary obviously out on the road, and I think that went a lot better. Everything, the band. Are you? Well, I spoke to them last year, but are you? I think you've already done so. So you've already for the Bears and Edmonds Sea Cadets. Yeah. They always do a good job for us. Okay. Anything else on Remembrance, Tom, at this early stage? And obviously,
I've just remembered a tiny little thing is that we've got free car parking on that day again from West Suffolk.
Yes, we did. Yes. What, on the Sunday? Oh no, Armed Forces Day.
Remembrance Day and Armed Forces Day, we've got free car parking.
Well, Remembrance Day is free anyway.
Oh, in that case, it's just
Armed Forces, yeah. So if we could try and maybe do the same. Have we got it again this year? Do you know?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We've got it again.
Oh, you have. Okay, that's fine. That'd be great. In the Arts Centre car park, yeah. Yeah, that's great. Okay, let's move on to the civic service. Again, long way off.
Reverend Max left the meeting. Sorry.
I'm going to say we lost him. Yeah, so we lost him. I thought the windows have gone a bit strange. Vicky, is your department?
Yes, I've booked the art centre for the 2nd, Wednesday, the 2nd.
Yeah.
That's all booked, and obviously near the time I'll have a meeting with Max and the new mayor to discuss the on.
Exactly. Okay, lovely. Thank you very much. Right, anybody else got anything else at all? Any comments at all? Suggestions? Not going to spring us on another date, are we, Councillor Brown? I don't know. Can't think of any. There's no other. Well, we'll have to start thinking about other, if you like, military event things, if there are any coming up. I don't know. We may not be friends with America come, July the 4th. Who knows? The way things are going. Anyway, let's move on. Item 8 then. Date of next meeting, Monday, the 18th of May. Obviously, we could talk to one another in the meantime and everything else. And then I'll close the meeting at